thing you've ever bought. Check out ours. Let's go, bud. All right, let's start with the elephant in the room. Why the f would anyone buy a truck this big? Well, besides for the pure joy that it gives people when they're driving it, like our brother here, it just makes you feel like a man.
Plus, it gives your life an extra thrill because you can't help but feel like you're going to cop a manslaughter charge every time you pass another vehicle on the road.
Anyways, in all seriousness, we've had a bunch of people curious about why we purchased such a big rig, and here's a little bit more of that information. We found the truck earlier this fall, and the short story is that we found it here in Whitefish. Travis took it for a couple test drives with our dad, and eventually we decided to pull trigger. The hardest thing after buying the truck was figuring out where to park it since it's so big.
But thankfully, our family has a barn with a big roof.
And I'm not gonna lie, this thing has become quite the pussy magnet.
It's very nice.
For those of you who like sports stats, here's Big Bertha's. She comes in at 10 feet 11 inches to the top of the cab, and the wheel wells themselves are 5 feet tall. She weighs a whopping 20,000 pounds, and you'll be shocked to find out she's road legal and in fact does not require a CDL to drive. Even climbing into this thing is a little difficult, and for a short guy like me, it's mandatory to use these arm rails. The inside of this thing is pretty basic and straightforward, except that it has a million buttons, knobs, and switches to control everything. It also has its own PA system so you can talk out of it, and there's a ridiculous amount of warning signs scattered across every inch of the dash. On the outside of this big beauty, you'll find a massive bumper and winch system, as well as a 50-inch light bar across the front of the hood. It has 13 leaf springs in the rear suspension, and even has a custom-built bed in the back. This thing has 6 46-inch tires and is an extremely bumpy ride if the road isn't flat.
In the event the truck ever blows a tire, it does have a spare, but the thing is so heavy that it has its own small crane system to get it down and off the truck. It also has a snorkel in the air intake, and both fuel tanks can hold 55 gallons of diesel.
Now that it's so cold, starting this thing can be a pain. To do it, we have to remove these clamps on the hood, quite literally put our back into lifting the entire hood, lock that thing down so it doesn't kill us when we're under it,
get the ladder out from the back, prop that up on the engine, plug in a heat gun, and blow warm air into the engine wall.
While that's warming up, we also have to remove the air filter and then move the heat gun to blow warm air into the engine itself. To start it, you have to turn the key, flip the battery switch to the on position, flip the start switch, wait for it to do its spin cycle, and then flip the start switch again. After that, it should come to life.
To put the truck in drive, you have to slide the transmission lever and you'll be good to go. The truck tops out around 60 miles an hour, and that's pushing it. Once we're done driving it and get it parked, the last step that we have to do every time is let all the air out of the system.
Well, that sums up everything about the truck here in one video. What do you think?
Was this a dumb purchase, a good purchase? What should we even name this thing, right? Like, it's massive. And any ideas you guys have what we should do with it, we would love to hear them. So stay tuned.